Hi, folks. We are starting a little early today because I have a busy day, and I found out that I do have company coming over early today. So let me rearrange this. This is off a little bit there. There we go. That's still off. There's nothing I can do about it. But anyway, wanted to get to all of your questions. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thanks for joining. Had a fun little stream last night with a lot of fun guys, Dylan and Chris and Brian. And it's very rare. Well, I wouldn't say rare. It's just hard to get Chris on streams. And I'm so happy every time he joins, and I'm not happy whenever Dylan joins. I'm kidding. I love Dylan too. But anyway, let me ask some of these, answer some of these questions that you wrote on yesterday's post. King of Koopas, what happens now that with the EU reviews finished and done? What will fill its place? Yeah, we're probably gonna talk about that in June, maybe end of the month. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, I do want to do my top 10 books, comic books, children's books. Everyone keeps asking about those, and I did say I would do those. So probably some of that too, maybe characters or something. And then probably from there, there's a few things I've been thinking about. One was a deep dive review, even though I'm still against that because a lot of people have great book reviews out there, and I've said this before. The reason mine isn't necessarily, I mean, I give an overview of the book, but I didn't want it to be just about giving a spill of the book because everyone does that. There's nothing wrong with that either, by the way. I absolutely love hearing what other people think about the books. I just think that what could I add? I mean, I could maybe add something somewhat unique, but that's why I like to talk about continuity and just about the characters themselves and what I liked or didn't like about a series when I remember it coming out. So it could be that. Of course, I'm always interested in doing more author interviews, and so that would be kind of interesting too. There's just a lot of ideas kind of bubbling around in my head. So we'll see, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And then Matt's Expanded Universe is never going away, right? Because there's all this unpublished material that I do plan to talk about, or there may be something new that we never knew about with the EU, or there may be just be new EU to review. So it's not going away. It's just not going to be as regular. Igor said, "Hey, your thoughts about the book Card of the Jedi printed and sold on Amazon? How you see it benefits the struggle of future EU?" That is going to be a Matt chat for next month. I've decided. You can look at the stream. Last night I kind of answered that question, but afterwards I thought, you know what, this would be a good topic for a Matt chat in June. So since I already have them recorded for May, so I'm going to save that for a Matt chat. But yeah, I think it's a good thing. Mizonix says, how would you reconcile Dark Empire with the Chosen One? Do you consider the story part of your headcanon? Also, isn't it silly that the Empire becomes stronger than ever, has all these super weapons and dark side tech? Actually, I disagree. I don't think anything is broken from Dark Empire. In that one, we have a flawed emperor. Remember, he's in a clone body. He's burning through it. He needs to find a real body. That's why he's trying to get into the body of Anakin Solo. But he's a weaker emperor. You know, yes, Luke joins him because he was kind of shot that the emperor's alive, that this is his only, and I like it because it still fits into episode 3. The emperor was obsessed with living forever, right? And he never wants to die. He's struggling to hold on to life. Well, he doesn't have the answer, but the temporary answer is clones, and so he's just trying to cheat death. He keeps finding ways to cheat death. So Luke's kind of worried. He wants to know more about the World Devastators, but even the World Devastators, they're not as powerful as the Death Star. I mean, they're dangerous machines, but they're not as powerful. And I mean, any other Imperial super weapons, like Darksaber plans were flawed. Sun Crusher was never developed until years later. It was still in development in the Maul installation, but the Empire is never stronger after Return of the Jedi. They're all broken and shattered. Sure, Thrawn brought a lot of them together, but even we know there were other fragments who were not siding with Thrawn. So the Empire was never the same powerhouse that it used to be. It's like that, old football dynasty that's just not there anymore. They've passed their glory days. I don't want to say anyone in particular, but they're past their glory days. And they're a decent team now, but they'll never be what they used to be. I mean, if you're a hockey fan, look at the Red Wings from the 90s. That's a terrible analogy because not many people watch hockey, but they, now, well, not even nowadays, but even 10 years later, they would make the playoffs, but then get put out in the first or second round. So they were good enough to make the playoffs, but then they couldn't make it any farther than what they used to be, the dominant team back in the day. And that's kind of how the Empire was. They were still good and they were still a threat, but they were never the big threat that they used to be. The next one here, Hal Jordan, what is your favorite character from Legacy? And if it's Cade, who besides Cade? I mean, I like Cade, but I think I've said this in my reviews, but Delia, I really liked her. I really thought she was a interesting character. I mean, she's there to support Cade. Cade doesn't even believe in himself. Cade doesn't even love himself at times. I mean, he really just gets down on himself, but Delia is just steadfastly supporting him. And that I always thought that was nice. Tabletop Island says, when are you going to do live streams with good-looking people with good hair? The one about board games, he says. Well, that's a great question. I need to get with Luke and Mark and Jamie and a few others and definitely do something with them. Yeah, all the good ones. Let's see. Jedi Acolyte says, is there anything EU related that you have for a wish list that was never written to completion? I mean, written to completion that we know about, or something that I wish was? I don't know. Jedi Acolyte, I'll just ask this. Like we talked about, oh my gosh, Chris, I've forgotten the name of it. Jedi Heretic trilogy for New Jedi Order. It was never completed. But of course it was never, written. It never came out anyway, but that'd be something. Now I'll tell you another one. It always bothered me. Science Adventures in Science, Star Wars Adventures in Science. The second book ended on a cliffhanger. It always bothered me. So I want to find out what happened to R2-D2 in that escape pod. It was spiraling to the planet. It's really stupid, but it never got concluded. I guess another one that never got concluded would be the Force Unleashed books. The Force Unleashed books. Of course, Starkiller knocks out Darth Vader and takes him with him. Now, we know, obviously, Darth Vader's going to get away, right? But I always wanted to know more and see that be finished, too. Blue Pig, do you know of any other books of Heart of the Jedi that were never officially published out there, a version of it somewhere? I think I answered that question yesterday. We answered that question several times. So, yeah, there's a few out there. The thing is, a lot of them, the authors don't have anymore because they kept them on these old hard drives. Remember, digital didn't exist. It wasn't a big thing even 10 years ago. It wasn't a big thing. So not everyone had a digital backup. Okay, so a lot of those old computers, they just threw away. The floppy disk, the zip drives we used to keep. I kept my story on a zip drive, for crying out loud. And I thought zip drives would be around forever. I really did. I thought floppy disks, they're going the way of the buffalo, but the zip drive, they'll always be there. Then they had the CD in the zip drive. I was like, no, they'll still keep the zip drive. And then they just had the CD. I was like, no. And now it's all digital. So, the only copy I have of my, draft of my own little novel I try to write is now the one that I printed out. That's it. I think I threw it away, but I used to have the little zip drive that came with it. I didn't see it in the package anymore, so I must have thrown it away. But there's no, I don't know. I mean, maybe there's a way to get it off the zip drive, but it doesn't matter. It's just the story that's printed out anyway. Imenza 2331. I am rereading New Jedi Order for the second time since it came out. Congratulations. It's a great series. How many ebooks and short stories are there that came out during the New Jedi Order? Don't want to miss anything. I think it was just one. I think it was Ulyssia, and that's in the trade paperback of Star by Star. I'm trying to think. That was one of the first ebooks, short stories that came out too, but I think that was the only one. And you can look at my reviews to make sure, but I think that was it. Owen Elkin says, hi, Matt. I was wondering if you saw Star Wars Theory's interview with Matthew Stover. Loved listening to him talk about working with George about the book and how George had a massive part in crafting the EU. Yes. Owen, I haven't seen that interview, but I've listened to several interviews by several authors. Kevin J. Anderson, he got a letter from George Lucas, said, hey, Congratulations. This is a great series. I really enjoyed it. Dave Wolverton tells a hilarious story. He had a letter too. During the Bantam era, it appears that George was still reading that. We can verify that. Well, I mean, the authors even state, he says in the letter that he read it. Now, did he? I don't know. I mean, Timothy Zahn got a letter. Dave Wolverton got a letter. I'm pretty sure, even though I've never heard, I'm pretty sure Kathy Tyers got a letter. But back then, George was reading the EU. Now, when he started working on the re-releases of Star Wars, and then, of course, the prequels, he just went to the comic books and started reading the comic books. And there's tons. I mean, even on the Clone Wars DVD, Dave Filoni says that George picks up comic books and grabs stories from comic books and says, hey, let's put this story in the Clone Wars. So he was still a comic book reader. I mean, there's even a story of a guy, George going into a comic book store and shocking the owner as he came in there and bought some of his own Star Wars comics because he wanted to look it up. I mean, he was a big fan of Quinlan Voss, right? Aya Secura. That's how they got in the movie, or Aya Secura did. And General Voss got mentioned because he was a big fan of John Ostrander. He was a huge fan of Archie Manning. Huge fan. Loved Archie Manning's Marvel run. A lot of the stuff that he wrote for Marvel, the old Star Wars comic book. So George had a lot of involvement. Obviously, Matthew Stover would know that too. And a lot of it, I mean, there's the amount of evidence that George was involved in the EU is overwhelming. It's overwhelming. You can even look at our website, theexpanduniverse.com. There's a quotes bank. Dylan put it together. He just started listing the quotes, and he verified everything. And I want to say that all my quotes were verified except for one. I found out later on that it wasn't listed in an insider. It was listed in a forum where someone in the forum said this was in the newest insider, yet it was a lie. He had just made it up. So, and I can't remember which quote it was, but it was one of the similar quotes that I gave. But when I finally looked at, because I was writing a book for, writing a piece for Sequart, Rich Hanley wanted me to, he said, can you list all the quotes here? And I said, sure, I got that. And I couldn't find that quote for that insider. I remember I called Jeremy from Stupid Chainsaw Productions and went, hey, where is this quote? I said 154, but it's not that one. It's not any in the 50s. And so he started looking through his issues. I looked through my issues, and I couldn't find the quote. Well, then I started searching online, and I found out it was one of the old, we did the Wayback Machine. It was in one of the forums where someone says, oh, yeah, this is in the newest Star Wars Insider issue. And it wasn't. So I was like, oh, man. So I got that from a forum along. Remember, I was scouring the forums for quotes, too. And I must have copied and pasted that from the forum and put it in there. And I did a few things like that I remember cutting out. But anything from Leland Chee and stuff like that, I kept back in the day. That was on my old laptop. Now it's gone. But Ultron, what are some of your favorite retcons across the EU? Why in specific? Well, probably it's the retcon of the Dave Filoni's Clone Wars. Fantasy Flight did it on the sly. I got to talk to him. I want to say Dylan was with me, or Jeremy, I can't remember. And I was at Gen Con, and but I remember I read it. It was in Force and Destiny. And basically, it's just a short little blurb about this guy watching a Clone Wars reel, a war reel, because that's how every Clone Wars episode begins. War on Kamino, the clone troopers, blah, 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 blah. It starts off like an old, war reel. And there's a guy supposedly watching these going, hey, why are they switching history? Because, that's what you're basically watching is a war reel, something that happened during the Clone Wars. And he goes, I'm watching this. He said, and they're switching history. He said, and sometimes it doesn't make sense why they're switching things. He went, and he suggests Comp Nor interference. The Imperial propaganda machine is changing things, though he doesn't know why. And it was a quick patch to explain the inconsistencies between the Clone Wars and the expanded universe. And I could not get, I tried to find who the actual author was because there was no author of that book. A bunch of people contributed to it. And Fantasy Flight was very coy not to tell me who had written that piece. But it was a piece that they just put in there just as a nice little, it's just a quick little patch for the Clone Wars, but I thought was really good. I remember reading that, and I think I called Dylan and Brian and whoever I could talk to. I said, hey, let me read this to you and tell me what you think it is. Because I was like, I think this is a retcon. And they're like, yeah, that sounds like a retcon. Dylan's like, I knew it. I knew they'd do that. And so we asked them at Gen Con, and they were like, they just said this. I went, that's a good way to interpret it. Yeah, they wouldn't say anything else. They were very coy about it. But that's been my favorite retcon. Love to see. Let me see. Lighter question. You said, how do you maintain a comprehensive collection and shape all these years? Take good care of it. A lot of my paperbacks are in great condition because I pinched the spine so I don't bend it. And I started doing that very early. When I was 13 and Heir to the Empire came out, I didn't do it. And I was upset because my spine was a mess. So the second book I got, I made sure to pinch the spine so I wouldn't bend it back. And I read books and I still read paperbacks like that today. I don't want to bend the spines on that. I like a hardback if I can, but paperback. And so I did that to all of my paperbacks. That's why the remaining paperbacks are in good condition. And I've always done that. But like I said, I was really upset at myself after I finished Heir to the Empire and the spines all, yuckied up, bent back. I was like, ugh, I shouldn't have done that. So I started taking care of my stuff. And, now I just dust it. Let's see. But yeah, all that stuff is stuff that I bought. Most of that stuff behind me on my shelf is stuff that I bought when it came out or when it was still really, the adventure journals, y'all are going to hate this. They were at every bookstore back in the day. They were so easy to get from me. And I think I got the rest of my collection on eBay very early. I think I may have bought a few at a bookstore and then bought the rest on eBay because they were just so easy to find. And now I hear there's one issue in particular that's just so hard to find. That's crazy. Not for any reason that it has something special in it. It's just that it's just one of the issues that not many people post that much. It sucks. Yeah, Sam, you saw the video. I've seen tons of articles about the Bad Batch, how it's going against retconning some of the comic books. Someone just wrote an article online. I don't remember where, but it's like why the new canon keeps contradicting itself. It's like, because it kept showing like all the times the new canon has contradicted itself. You didn't see articles like that about the EU. You didn't read articles about that about the EU. But remember, this whole stuff about we want to just get a fresh start and one continuity. It's going to be on par with the movies is what they said. And obviously that's not the truth by far. Now you look at the things that Matt Martin has said. He said, why even care about canon? That's kind of the attitude they've taken now because they can't do it. They see how hard it is and they've just given up. It seems like they've given up. And then they mock the fans for, not all of them, but a few people at Lucasfilm mock the fans, of course, for treating the canon as real. I just never liked that. Michael asked a lot of great questions, and Michael, I probably can't answer any of these, but I'll try my best. Who is stronger? He said the 501st Legion Russian garrison force of Foundation versus United States Space Force. I don't know, man. U.S. then. Which is better, United States Space Force Command versus the Russian? Well, see, that seems like the same question. Oh, then you added versus Lucasfilm. I don't know. Your versus stuff, man. That's wild. Lucas and Disney would sue the pants off of the rest of them. How's that? And then what if there's a global hemorrhage superpowers? Hold on. Between Star Wars Expanded Universe and Space Force Command. I don't know. Versus the new canon. I don't know. Again, Disney has higher lawyers. Probably they'd win. What is your most favorite new prints of the Star Wars Expanded Universe content happening? The reprints from the Essentials collection, I wasn't that crazy about them. I think they're inferior to previous printings that have come out, so I don't really like those. What are your thoughts on the Strategic Missile Defense Space Force Program agents? I don't know, man. Don't know. And then finally, tell us more about the Star Wars photography from the Insider exclusives to all these. You mentioned that, and there's a lot of great articles in Star Wars Insider that perhaps I need to go back over. I remember Joe Bongiorno wrote one a long time ago that in fact, this is how I knew Joe Bongiorno. Before I met him, I had known him as the guy who I believe he did the article, The Creatures of the Marvel comic books, aliens of the Marvel comic books. I believe he did that for Star Wars Insider. And I always found that fascinating. So he did some piece articles. I don't think he ever wrote fiction, so to speak, but he would do piece articles for Insider and StarWars.com. And that's how I knew of him. He was kind of at the time on the same par of Jason Fry. Jason Fry wrote some very interesting articles, but never got to write a novel, even though I think Guide to Warfare is brilliant stuff. Siberian Dream. First is the last month you said, Matt Chat, the publishing industry isn't doing so well relative to a decade ago. Legends, but what about the actual numbers? I'm not an economics expert, so perhaps you could post something on why the publishing industry is doing poorly related to 10 years ago for dummies. Now it's a few things. It's a few things. I mean, an author would be good about this. Like Michael Stackpole was talking about how the industry has changed a little bit now, and the way that you made sales aren't the same way you make sales today, and the way you should market yourself and publish a book have totally changed and revolutionized for the better. Like the author can get more money these days because it's easier for them to self-publish, and they cut out the middleman, and they can make more money on certain things. My brother makes more, well, I can't say that because I don't know, but I think he makes more money on his independently published stuff than he does on his contracted stuff, and the royalties he gets there. And I know Stackpole agrees with that. I was basically going off of what Michael Stackpole had told me a few years back, that sales are declining, books, the old paperback, the old hardback, people aren't always rushing to get them now. And, video games really taking over. And, there's other distractions when it comes to books. But the industry as a whole, I mean, you have the best sellers, which are going to sell, right? But if you look back a few years ago on how books were selling, they've just kind of gone down now for whatever reason. Now, I'm pretty sure audiobooks are included in regular book sales. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know. So it had to be someone, like I said, I was just going off what I'd heard from Michael Stackpole a few years back. And I'd definitely like to know more about it too. So maybe I should look more into that. Get 5 copies of Heart of the Jedi. Fun. Like I said, yeah, I know some people are like, why would I get an extra copy? I'm never going to sell those things. That's fine then. But there will be other people later on that once this book is gone, newer people are going to be like, oh, I missed it. Where can I get a copy? And everyone's going to be like, no, you can't have mine. Let's see. You asked the question, do we really want people making new legends? They have no internal consistency to stories they put out. I'm quite concerned. Well, I mean, I've answered this before. I didn't have time to look. I didn't click down on this one, Siberian. You listed a bunch of videos. I'm sorry. I didn't have time to look at any of those videos. Sorry. I just saw that. I had to click more, show more. But anyway, yeah, I mean, Lucasfilm, yeah, first off, it's Del Rey who writes them, Del Rey and Marvel. And we've seen with 108, they got the right people involved, and they gave us a good story. I would hope that Del Rey would give us a good story and bring some of those old authors back who know about the expanded universe and who deliver a good story. But at this point, for that to happen, I mean, there does need to be a shakeup at Lucasfilm or a different attitude toward the books at Lucasfilm too. Remember, it's the author that makes their choice, and those older school authors, they know that they know how to walk the line and balance out and give us a great story. I would trust them at least. Dotista, I'm going to say is your name. Sorry if I'm butchering these. Why is Yularen wearing white like an admiral, but he is only a colonel? I mean, that's from New Hope, right? I mean, those old suits. So perhaps the color of the suit had changed in the imperial structure in the years following. Who knows, right? But you saw that rank all the time in a New Hope, or at least if you look at some of the New Hope, what is it, Star Wars companion guides and stuff, they're the rank insignias. You see those in a lot of the white. All those people wearing white, they're not all grand admirals walking around. It's just that the story goes that Timothy Zahn saw someone walking around in white and thought, that's a nice idea. I'm going to make that a grand admiral. So he's the one that kind of labeled white as grand admiral and not as colonel, which is what it ended up being. For the longest, I thought he said that he saw a blue alien in white and said, I'll write a story about him. And so I did. I misread it years ago when I was younger. And I remember going through New Hope and pausing between trying to find where Thrawn was. But you see guys walking around in white on the Death Star, and you probably just saw one of them, and that's where he got the idea. And then Will I ever grow a mustache or a goatee? No, I mean, I've done it here and there. Maybe it just depends. I don't know. Maybe got my hair long enough. I did grow. Um, I did have the soul patch. The reason I have the soul patch in the first few issues, I mean, first few episodes of my Matt's Expanded Universe, is I was supposed to be part of a um, uh, digital online show. My buddies were trying to film one up, and they were the ones that filmed the intro for me so that I would do a few episodes of their little internet show. And so my guy was having a soul patch, which is why I have a soul patch. And because we were going to film a few episodes, but it never happened. Never happened. So I eventually just shaved it off. All right, look at this. Lots of good mornings. Good morning, Brady. Hey, good morning, Chris. Good morning, Quality. 5:32 there. Woo, what, Alex, way to wake up, buddy. I'm telling you what. Good morning. Good morning. I understand completely. Understand completely. Did this for my friends overseas. Oh, well, yeah, no. Here's the thing with that. I mean, he just did it to, for instance, let's put ourselves in his shoes, okay? Here's how I see it. Put himself in his shoes. This that he just printed for his own little, collection has now blown up into something. There's people fighting. He doesn't want any part of it, and he doesn't want to get sued. And that's what it was telling me. So telling off both people, right? He's just, all this person is, the person who put it up is someone who just wanted it for his own collection. And he had a little talent, and he made a nice copy and put it up there. And just like I said last night, we talked about this. We think about March 4th, it looks like, when it was first published, and it was just for him personally. And that other people brought it up, and now it's blowing up. It's like, no. And it seemed like me, it was just a harsh criticism for everyone involved. Like, this was just for me. It wasn't for this. I didn't mean it to be this way. I didn't mean it to be that way. And, yada. And it was one of those big deny, because I don't want anyone to come after me for doing this book. So either way, though, I mean, I wouldn't be too upset. I mean, obviously, he's just someone who just wanted the book in his collection. All right. He didn't, he's not for either side, and that's fine. He can make a statement, but regardless, what that book has sparked has, taken on a life of its own. It's outside of his control now. Love Dark. Yeah. Dark Empire is great. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I wanted to make sure he gets a copy of it, especially the newest. He got one of. I gave him the first time it came around. It had come and gone like that, and I got an email from Joe saying, "Hey, I wasn't able to get Ken a copy. Do you have an extra one?" I said, "Absolutely, absolutely." I think I had two extra. I think I got two paperbacks now, and I said, "Yeah, I'll give you both my paperbacks." I was happy because I had bought some extra just in case. And so I was happy to. And so I asked Joe if Ken had gotten a copy of the new one. He said, "Yes, I got one." I said, "Okay, good," because I was going to get him one, but he deserves one. And the thing is, I really need to send out that email because I want to ask him. If as an author, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday, it must be really good that so many people are excited about your book, a book that you never got to. He never got the big fanfare of a Bantam Star Wars novel, which back then was huge, right? Because everyone was gobbling up anything Bantam did. So he missed all that time in the sun, and it's a shame because he put together what I thought was a decent novel and no one got to share it. He didn't get to share it with anyone. Well, now everyone else can enjoy this. And it's great. It's a great feeling. So I'm happy for him. Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, Nat Skywalker, Bantha is just a great character. A great character. Like I said, going back through this Legacy comic book series, there's just so many good things in it. And I laugh because, like I said, I was, Quality, when I did my review of episode 0 or issue 0, I was one of the negative people. I'll be quite clear. I was one of the most negative people in the forums going, "This is a terrible idea. They should never do it. It's going to ruin the canon." I mean, I was verbatim what they're talking about. I think they mentioned this on Wikipedia, but back in the day, you were split. You either love the idea or hate the idea, and I was one of the people hating the idea. And I was so wrong, so wrong. Yeah, yeah, I think she's great. I think she's great, absolutely. Nightfall. Dadgummit. See, I got it wrong because there is a Force Heretic series. It's Nightfall. I don't know why I can't remember that title. Chris had to remind me of it last night too. I'm so stupid. Hey, Josh, how's it going? Glad you can make it, my friend. Um, yeah. It kind of sucks too, but well, wait, you're not late, Michael. I started early because I have I'm in a wedding and the groom is going to come over and we're going to do some board games, Michael. We're going to do some board games on his last day of singlehood. So I'm excited. So he's going to come over in any minute now, well, probably 30 minutes, probably 30. He's going to go get donuts. So that's why I wanted to start a little bit early. Um, yeah, but that was it's sad when it happened. Now I just want them to continue the story. Ah, see, that's why we need Chris here. Chris knows. Chris knows, man. Keeps up with that. A lot of those interviews and stories I've just forgotten over time, but that's interesting. Thank you, Chris, for sharing that. Well, a lot of people weren't happy because it was one of their favorite comic book characters, and she just got mowed down like nothing. And so it was funny because everyone was happy to see her, like disappointed that she didn't put up a fight just to kill off one of your favorite characters. Um, oh yeah, Russ Manning. George Lucas was a big fan of Russ Manning too. Both Russ Manning and Archie Goodwin. Someone else, but there's a lot of things he didn't like about the Marvel comic books, but there's a lot of things he did. No, it's just a joke video. And then, oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, joke video. You got it. Should have known that. Good morning, Scott. See, Scott comes in, hijacks my chat because now everyone wants to say hello to him. Kidding. It's in your copy of the Joiner King? Really? I thought it was in Star by Star. That's odd. Interesting. Yeah, hate marking that spine. I know that. Hello, Scoundrels Cantina. Good to see you. Good to see you. I got to join a little bit of their stream the other day, which was extremely fun. Extremely fun. It was right before I took my girls to daycare. It was so much fun. It's always fun talking to those guys. Oh, you did. That's interesting. Cool. Did I miss your question? I'm sorry, Brandon. Put it back in. If I missed it, I'm sorry. I apologize. No, not any of mine. I don't have. No. Well, again, like I said, I need to find out more about that. Oh, probably so. Yeah, Dylan's been crunching those numbers, and I didn't even check to see if he put something online, Chris. It's been a busy day so far. And that could be it. I mean, the interests are split. Interests are diverse. I mean, back in the day, we used to read books as kids. I mean, I don't know if he remembers this. Pizza Hut would give a personal pan pizza for reading over the summer. They'd stamp 5 books, and then you get a free personal pan pizza. I don't know if they still do this. I doubt they do because I've never heard of it. But I thought it was so cool because I'd want to read books, and my mom would mark them off. I guess it's the honor system back then. And then you'd go in there, and Pizza Hut would reward you with your own personal pan pizza. And I thought, man, this little pepperoni pizza was worth it. All the books I read. So it was really encouraged back in the day. And I mean, as we grow as a society, we change. Kids don't play outside as much anymore. So trends is all it is. Yeah, it's very interesting because the Hungarian Han Solo books, it's a question of canon, isn't it? Because they owned the publication rights. To sell all the reprints in Hungary, but they didn't have permission to create new stories. Now, they did that on the sly. Most likely they knew they didn't have permission, but you could have said, they raised up the innocent hands like, what? We couldn't do this? But at the same time, they didn't contradict anything. They did keep everything in continuity with Brian Daley's series. In fact, as you know, that first book mentions a lot of Brian Daley's previous adventures, which is really what constituted as continuity back then. But it doesn't interfere with any continuity. So yeah, it could be, but it's a question of canon, right? Because you have West End Games like subletting the Star Wars license out to all these little RPG sites, and they're writing their own adventures. Well, are those canon? And I remember Leland Shee approached that question like, well, back then the rights were kind of loosey-goosey, and so we kind of had to tighten things up back then. So not necessarily canon, but if it doesn't contradict, Oh, okay. QQQ. I haven't rewatched the films in years. I mean, close to a decade now, probably. And I need to. I saw for Star Wars Day, I was working out in the gym, and I saw they were playing A New Hope, and I'm like looking up at it as I'm on the elliptical going, So I probably need to watch it again. That'd be fun. It's a wonderful way to wake up. That'd be interesting. That'd be fun. We say, okay, guys, we got our DVDs here. You ready? 1, 2, 3, hit play. That would be fun, Michael. I don't know. Maybe when I do the rewatch, do all that. I'd have to include the Ewok movies there, right? Yeah, it'd be nice. It would be nice. I like things in hardback, but I do agree with Chris. I think that the new paperback out is really well done. Really well done. Okay, here's the question. Here you go. Where do EU fans stand today versus 2 years ago? Are Legends ongoing? Well, obviously reprints are still coming out. Obviously, we got 108 a few years back, which was a new Legends story. And Legends fans continue to grow. The fandom continues to grow. And like I said, this short, sweet success of Heart of the Jedi, that fans are just buying up, even though there's a digital copy available for free online. Everyone knows that, but they'd rather pay to get it in paperback. It just shows how dedicated EU fans are and how starved they are for more information. And I mean, for more material, coming out there. And in my opinion, it's just moving up. I mean, Chris can give you the numbers on how many hits we're getting on the site, and obviously it's taken a spike in the recent month. And then of course March we had a big spike because the tournament's always fun too. But the thing is though, we just get more and more people interested. I mean, one of the main reasons my channel grows is because more people find out about the expanded universe. I mean, not too long ago, earlier this week, someone else had just gotten into it and was asking me one of my favorite questions: where should I start? Which I'm going to write a list of articles explaining that there are different places I think you can start depending on where you're at. So in my opinion, I think it's going well. And right now, maybe we should focus on talking to some of these other authors who have unpublished stories to go ahead and release them right now. I mean, now's the time. Lucasfilm's not hurrying up to create new Legends content, so let's see what else is out there. Joe has an upcoming novel that was going to be from a series he was going to do for StarWars.com, but now he's going to combine it, and he kind of added on to it. It's going to be a novel, and it's going to be really fun to read. So let's see if we can get someone else to release their stuff too. I think that'd be a lot of fun. This would be the focus. Right now, I bought one for a friend. I like my hardback copy, so But yeah, I got one for a friend. Oh, Cole. Hey, yeah. I always found him interesting, because we don't know that much about him. I mean, besides what we learned from the comic books. Yeah, I need to talk to. I need to send him a questionnaire to fill out or something. I need to do that. I don't have his direct contact. Joe does, but it would definitely be interesting. Because I'd like to hear if he has a message for the fans. I know he does. He seems like a really nice guy. Lunchtime in the UK. That's fine. I was going to eat my breakfast because I love eating breakfast in the mornings. And he said, I'm getting donuts. I was like, okay. So now I got to wait. Got to wait. A little hungry, a little queasy. Need my food. I've already had a bowl of cereal usually by now. Shut up. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. The first one we're playing is King's Abbey. And then I have a few other ones. What else are we playing? Diamond Club, Gugong, Selenia. We probably won't get through all of them, but if we can, that'd be awesome. But he wants to get up to the church really early. So. Good morning from Flanders, Belgium. Wow. Hey, awesome. Yeah, a lot of people are telling me they just got it in the mail and they're so excited. That's just so much fun. Absolutely love it. Well, thanks, Alex. I really appreciate having you on. That was really fun. It was a lot of fun doing those. Those are a lot of fun. Hey, maybe more of those I should do, right? Yeah, the Russ Manning Award. Yeah, I know that. Those great people in comic books get it. And Archie Manning was also someone who's very highly respected in the business too. I watch Chuck Dixon's YouTube channel. He has the highest respect for Archie Manning. Oh, Recovery. Thank you. Recovery's in Star by Star. Ulyssia is in the Dark Nest trilogy because it was supposed to come out during I know this now. It's supposed to come out during Destiny's Way, right? But through a fluke, they forgot to reprint it in that one, so they reprinted it in the Dark Nest trilogy. Ah, thank you, everyone. That's funny. I used to buy them on ebook too, even though they came out in paperback later. I didn't want to take the chance of it not coming out on paperback, so I'd always buy the ebook. Oh, there you go. Everyone at Pete's the Book It program. Oh, really? Okay. That's sad. Is that what it was called? The Book It program? Probably so. I can't remember. I remember the name of it because I was too little, but I remember reading books at the library and it was either a stamp or a mom's signature. And then we'd go to Pizza Hut and get my free personal pan pizza. It was great. Christopher's hogging up my chat here. Kidding. Let's see. Definitely got to do the Ewok movies. Yeah. I don't watch many of the Let's Plays, and that's weird because I can't make fun of anyone for watching a video game, someone else play a video game, because I watch videos of other people playing board games, so it'd be kind of hypocritical for me to say. But my nephews are huge into Minecraft and people playing Minecraft. But the thing is, the people playing Minecraft have got to be some of the most annoyingest people in the world. I just I can't stand listening to. I don't know who it is, but they listen to it all the time. And they go, "Oh no, oh no, yeah!" And then they're just always screaming and acting stupid. And I'm like, why do you guys watch that? Though I don't know who they are, but those people are just annoying. That's nice. They're not for me. They're not for me. Again, I don't mind if anyone else enjoys them, but I just don't even bother. I don't even bother catching up with the new canon. I'd like to. I'd love him to. Right now, he's politely said no, but I'd love him to. I'd love him to. Wish we had more posted. Yeah, basically, from my understanding, Dark Horse wanted to keep out of the book's way, and the books kept out of Dark Horse's way, which is why Dark Horse went to different eras and focused on different eras or different time periods outside of the novels. But I think the times when they did work together, I think they did a great job, and I wish there was more of that partnership. I wish there was more of that partnership between the two of them, because I think it really would have, the fans would have really been the winners out of that. They would, like done little filler New Jedi Order stories in between while the books are going. They would have let them, they did have a seat at the table because originally they thought New Jedi Order was going to be a book, and then they were going to let the comic books take the story. But then later on, they said, no, let's make it a book series. And then Dark Horse got their feelings hurt and didn't do anything for the longest. But they should have worked together with them. I think they would have just made the New Jedi Order era even more awesome. Yay! Huzzah! Yeah, a lot of people were upset about that contradiction there. It was glaring, like everyone knew about it. Oh, cool. Wow, awesome. Baseball tickets, man. Never. Both my girls were up last night crying just for no reason, So yeah, it is rough. I'll be honest, I'm really tired. But they were up boink, 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 left and right. So yeah, and usually they sleep pretty good, but this last night, it was bad. It was bad. It was on and off. Thank you. I plan on it. You do the same. Yeah, those people are annoying. If it's Minecraft, they have a weird name too. Their people have weird names, but there's the guys that play together and they always scream. They go, "Oh no, I know!" Ah! It's just, I'm like, oh, please stop. Nope. Like I said, there's a lot of good. I mean, one of the things someone said, why don't I go through all the TV episodes, one by one? That's interesting too, because then I could talk good about Filoni. There's a lot of good Filoni episodes I do like, but for the most part, I didn't like his reckless disregard for the canon. Is what I didn't like. That'd be awful. No, I have I got Star Wars Insider when it came out, so I have all the individual issues. Well, I'm doing a wedding, so it's at 6:30. I'll probably go till 9 or something. I don't know. I'll go to bed early tonight, as early as I can. Well, here's the deal, Josh. Chris can grow a better beard than me. His hair is more natural. Like it looks better longer than mine. Mine looks like someone just stuck a mop on my head. So Chris basically wins overall on all grooming looks and everything. I mean, if you think about it, me in a tux is going to look like they've just grabbed a homeless man off the street. Whereas Chris wears a tux, he looks like James Bond. I mean, so I mean, the long hair is definitely favored by Chris, and the nice big beard. If I grow a beard, I can't grow anything here. It kind of grows in like little patches, and it's not very good. So Chris wins on that. Well, since Sword of the Jedi, according to Chrissy Golden, was never written, even though it had a release date and a cover art. So it never will be. Christy Golden has zero interest in releasing it. And in fact, she tells everyone, "Oh, I never wrote it. I never wrote it." I said, "Really?" Because Force.net used to have a release date and everything. Yeah, but I hadn't written it yet. You hadn't written it yet? She just wants to keep that story to herself, which is fine. Oh man, I think Death Troopers is great. I think it's great. I loved it. That was really good. Majestic as a lion, I would say, yes. Hey, you know what? I've actually read all those. I don't know if you knew that, but I have. They're fun. They're fun. They're dated as of that time, but Edgar Rice Burroughs really had a vivid imagination for that time, and I really enjoyed those. The one that stands out is the one that his son, I think, wrote. And maybe he ghost wrote under his dad's, but you can tell everything is so different. And that one, I was like, what's the deal with this one? And then I found out his son wrote it. So it has a different feel. But I mean, they kind of have the same old, Save the Princess storyline. But I enjoyed those. Those are all free. You can get those for free. Those are public domain. And I think they're fun. I think he had a great imagination for as old as those stories are. I really did enjoy them. Yeah, that would have been great if he'd release it. Oh, Red Harvest isn't nearly as bad. You need to adjust your expectations. Yeah. Say, okay, maybe I like crap. That's what you got to say. Someone, I remember it was either in the chat or they reached out to me after I did Red Harvest and they said, well, Matt, that's the only book that talks about Sith alchemy. I was like, that's true. Still doesn't make it a good book though. Well, yeah, Golden just wants that conversation to go away, I think. But yeah, why can't you just be honest? Just be honest, be honest with me. But they don't want to, because I get it. They don't want to be hounded for the story over and over again because they want to give out free, whatever if you get paid for something, you don't want to just give it away for free, right? So you'd repurpose that story into something else later on if you've already written it. I'll be honest. I'll be honest with you. We'll do this one. What if Del Rey says we're going to start creating new legends? Okay, then we'll have Chris shave his beard. How's that? Shave his beard. I can't speak for Chris, so I'm just saying. Yeah, this one I'm doing a little bit early. I used to do early ones not all the time, but every once in a while on Saturdays, and it just happened. Maybe so. Hey, you know what? Clean shaven. Oh, there you go. We wouldn't recognize him, right? If that was the case. Is it just a snooze? Perhaps so. Look at all this stuff. There you have it, folks. There you have it. No. You had it right the first time. He'll shave his bear. If you don't know, Chris has a bear that he wrestled. Actually, he just punched that bear in the face, knocked him out, and dragged him out of the woods and took him home. And he's going to shave that bear. Actually, I want you to shave a bear now. I'll grow my soul patch back. That's a deal. Careful, Lex Luthor. Okay, we'll both shave our heads, Chris. How's that? How'd you feel if the EU suddenly continued? What if it went the same way Disney treats most official canon? I mean, I'd hope not. As you know, the old canon wasn't perfect either, meaning it's story-wise, content went. But like I said, I would trust if you got some of the old authors. Remember, if you got some of these older authors, I think they know how to write for fans. I mean, you look at here's my example. You look at 108. Marvel wanted to do what was right to Legends fans, right? And you can talk about Marvel all day long right now, but just a few years ago, they created a pretty good story for Legends. So I would hope and expect that we'd see that same respect for the way they tell stories in the Legends universe. But you never know, right? You never know. It goes without saying there should be a changing of the guard at Lucasfilm, but I would trust people like Troy Denny, Michael Stackpole, I think, to write a good story. We'd be two non-binary characters. Yes, we would. Oh, and by the way, Scoundrels Cantina did something on the Bad Batch. You can check that out. Yeah, they were all over that review of the Bad Batch there. So you definitely want to check out their channel for that. Well, here's the thing. They're villains. I don't care about these Sith kids. They're not nice kids either, but we're supposed to feel bad for them. This virus is outbreaking. And then it just seemed too much, you know, like Sith kids at a Sith high school. Whoa, crazy things happen. Zombies everywhere. We're the Sith cool kids. I don't know. It just felt so bleh, like fan fiction-y to me, you know. No, but there's a hungry Ewok. How's that? That's true. There is. There is. Who is as interesting as wallpaper paste. Yeah. You don't care about her at all in the storyline, or at least I didn't. You know what? To be honest, I don't even remember that character. So I'd have to reread it again. I just don't. I mean, I just remember what I didn't like about it. I will reread it. I will reread it, and I will reread it with open. I mean, with a renewed interest. I am curious because when I do reread, go back through and reread these, which I'm hopefully starting later on this year or next year. I will be interested to see if my opinion changes on anything. I'm very positive Dawn of the Jedi, my opinion, will not change. I just read another book by Tim Levin, and it's horrible for the same reasons I didn't like the first one. It's really bad, and it's Tim Levin. It's Tim Levin. He did a. You came to enjoy it. Oh, I love Darksaber. I love Darksaber. Tim Levin did a Firefly novel. The Firefly novels, in my opinion, especially the first two, are really good. The one called Generations or whatever, it's okay. It's the guy kind of follows a little outline, beat for beat for beat for beat. Like he focuses on this character, then this character, then this character, then this character. Then he goes around the wheel again to each character. Each chapter is one individual character. He keeps going around and around like that. I was like, ugh, the pacing's very repetitive. You know, the story was okay, but the pacing's very repetitive, and everything was happening. They unlocked by accident a nightmare machine, and so it starts where everyone is having nice dreams, and then we go around the circle again, and everyone's having trouble in their dreams. Then we go around that character. Each chapter goes through it again, and now everyone's having nightmares about their dreams. Like, okay, dude, goodness gracious, break it up a little bit better, change things up a little bit differently. So his pacing was a little off, but overall it was okay. The first two were just excellent. They read like actual episodes. And then Tim Levin's came, and I was excited because I was like, okay, Tim Levin, this is part two. I really hated Dawn of the Jedi. Let's see how he does. It was awful. It was awful. It's so distant and separated from what the actual TV show was. I didn't feel like I was reading an episode of the show like everything else. It's embarrassing on my shelf because it's the worst Firefly novel. In fact, I'm so glad that wasn't the first one, or I probably wouldn't have bought the other ones. But it's just Tim Levin. I just don't like him. Just don't like him. Well, I've missed tons of stuff here. Ooh. Let me see if I can catch up here. Oh, I love Kevin G. Anderson, obviously. It can be at times. Can be. Jacen, I think a lot of people felt that way. I really like Kevin G. Anderson, but a lot of people online in the forums did not. I think that's mainly because Zahn would mock, his story back in the day. Now they're on great terms, but Zahn kind of acted like everyone else's stories were inferior to his. And so people followed Zahn, and they acted like everyone else's stories were inferior to Zahn's. And I didn't like that attitude. Okay, that's fine. Me personally, I would go ahead and read them. Yes, those aren't the best, But I'd go ahead and read them because some people have different opinions. But you don't have to, of course. But you know, to each his own. And I love the Black Fleet Crisis, but you talk to Ryan Kennel, he hated the Black Fleet Crisis, but he didn't have any taste anyway. So, here's his own death. Sorry. Oh yeah, it would have been nice. Would have been nice if they would have gotten that. Yes, I remember that. Yeah, thank goodness it didn't make it. Yes, I have the first two. The third one never came out in hardback for some reason. The Star Cave of Thumbaka drove me nuts because I looked everywhere for it, but never came out. I'm good, Sam. Hello. How's class? When do you get out? When is school over? I mean, that's basically what it was. I think a lot of people just there's a lot of complaints about Kevin J. Anderson. I mean, shoot, you can ask I know Stig Kenobi tore it apart, and Ryan didn't like it either. So you can hear their and the stuff that they would talk about is what you'd hear online, but I never saw that. I really actually liked him. I don't like Karen Travis. I don't. But then that's another thing a lot of fans did. There you go. Yeah, I think it should be read because you can appreciate some things in it, but maybe not the best. All right. Well, I do have to go. I think that's them. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Have a great rest of your weekend. And remember that article on the expandinguniverse.com coming out tomorrow. I will see you guys.